With 50 bucks to work with, I choose these wireless routers. TP-Link Archer A54. This router is the definition of getting the basics right for a rock bottom price. In my testing, I found it's a solid entry into the world of dual-band Wi-Fi, letting you put your newer devices on the faster, less crowded 5 GHz band for things like HD streaming, which it handles without a problem. Set up through the TP-Link tethered app is painless and you're online in minutes. However, the biggest catch, and honestly a deal breaker for me, is that all its internet ports are capped at 100 megabytes per second. This means if your internet plan is faster than that, you're bottlenecking your speed before the signal even goes wireless. For someone with a sub 100 megabytes per second internet plan, living in a small apartment with just a few devices, this is a perfectly adequate upgrade over an old single-band router. TP-Link Archer AX10. The Archer AX10 is honestly a game changer at this price point, as it's one of the cheapest tickets into the Wi-Fi 6 ecosystem. The moment I started connecting multiple devices, the difference was clear. Thanks to Wi-Fi 6 features like OFDMA, it handles a busy network with multiple streams, far more gracefully than any Wi-Fi 5 router in this bracket. In my tests with a Wi-Fi 6 compatible phone, I was getting speeds over 700 megabytes per second, which is fantastic for the cost. It ran stable for days under load, and the range was surprisingly good, easily covering my 1800 square foot space. While it lacks some high-end Wi-Fi 6 features like 160 MHz channel width, it crucially includes gigabit Ethernet ports, so it won't bottleneck a fast internet connection like the A54 does. This is the router for anyone who wants to future-proof their home network without spending a lot. It's perfect for gamers, streamers, or anyone with a growing collection of smart devices. If I had to spend my own 50 bucks, I would absolutely buy the TP-Link Archer AX10 because the inclusion of Wi-Fi 6 and gigabit ports offers a massive leap in performance and longevity for a minimal price difference. Here's what I'd buy if I only had 100 bucks to spend on a wireless router. TP-Link Archer AX55. The Archer AX55 is one of those routers that completely nails the essentials, making it a benchmark for what a sub-$100 router should be. In my testing, I found it to be an incredibly reliable workhorse for a typical family home. I had multiple 4K streams running, my partner was on a video call, and I was downloading large game files without any noticeable slowdowns. The speeds on the 5 GHz band are genuinely impressive for the price, and I consistently got strong signal throughout my 2-story house. At 15 feet, I clocked in at 823.7 megabytes per second, which is more than enough for most people. However, I did notice that uploads on the 2.4 GHz band can be a bit sluggish, which seems to be a common trait for routers with this particular chipset. Also, it's a Wi-Fi 6 device, so you won't get the benefits of the newer Wi-Fi 7 standard. For anyone who just needs a stable, fast, and affordable Wi-Fi 6 upgrade that covers their whole home without a fuss, this is the one to get. TP-Link Archer BE230. This one honestly surprised me. Getting into Wi-Fi 7 at this price point felt like a trick, but the Archer BE230 delivers. This is your entry ticket to the next generation of wireless, and the difference is immediately noticeable if you have compatible devices. During my tests, I saw speeds over 1.6 gigabytes per second when I was near the router, something unheard of in this price bracket until now. What really sold me were the two 2.5 gigabytes per second Ethernet ports, which are a game changer for connecting on NAS or a high-speed desktop. The key Wi-Fi 7 features, like multi-link operation (MLO), made my network feel snappier and more responsive, especially with a lot of smart home gadgets competing for bandwidth. The main compromise here is that it's a dual-band Wi-Fi 7 router, so you're not getting the full tri-band experience with a dedicated 6 GHz channel. Still, for someone who wants to future-proof their network for upcoming devices and take advantage of multi-gig speeds without breaking the bank, this is the clear choice. If I had to spend my own $100, I would buy the Archer BE230 because its Wi-Fi 7 features and multi-gig ports provide a much better foundation for the next few years of tech. If I had 150 bucks to spend, these would be my top wireless router choices. GLI Flink 2. This is the router for people who hate the dumbed-down app-only interfaces that have become so common. In my experience, the GLI Flink 2 is all about giving power back to the user, and I was immediately impressed by the sheer depth of its open WRT-based admin panel. Setting it up felt less like configuring a consumer gadget and more like tweaking a proper piece of network hardware. The performance is solid with dual 2.5 GB E ports that delivered excellent wired speeds, and the Wi-Fi 6 coverage was stable and fast throughout my testing. I was particularly blown away by its WireGuard VPN performance, hitting speeds I rarely see in this price range, which is a massive win for privacy or remote access. The only real letdown for me was the USB 3.0 port. Samba transfer speeds were just over 30 megabytes per second, so don't expect it to replace a dedicated NAS. Honestly, this router is perfect for the tinkerer, the developer, or anyone who wants absolute control over their network traffic and loves the flexibility that open source software provides. TP-Link Archer BE400. The Archer BE400 is your cheapest ticket to the Wi-Fi 7 party, and it makes a surprisingly strong first impression. What stood out to me right away was its performance with my older Wi-Fi 6 devices. My phone and laptop were getting faster and more stable 5 GHz speeds than they did with my previous Wi-Fi 6 router, which I did not expect. The build quality is great with a design that has plenty of ventilation, and it stayed just lukewarm even when I had over 20 devices connected and running speed tests. However, it's not perfect. While it has two 2.5G ports, only one is for LAN, which feels a bit restricted. The biggest quirk I found was that enabling the new Wi-Fi 7 MLO feature actually tanked my performance, so I had to leave it disabled, something I hope TP-Link fixes with a firmware update. This is the ideal router for a family or gamer with a gigabit plus internet plan who wants to set something up and forget about it while getting great speeds for years to come. If I only had to spend my own $150, I would buy the GLI Flink 2 because its open source flexibility and powerful VPN server capabilities give me the control that I, as a tech enthusiast, truly value over the raw but currently quirky Wi-Fi 7 speeds of the Archer. If I had $200 to spend, these would be my top wireless router choices. Asus RT-AX86U Pro. The Asus RT-AX86U Pro is one of those legendary routers that has rightfully earned its reputation as a workhorse, especially for gamers. In my experience, this thing is all about delivering raw, consistent speed where it counts. I threw everything at it, 4K streams, large game downloads, and multiple devices competing for bandwidth, and it just didn't flinch. The range is impressive for a standalone unit, easily covering my apartment and then some. Though for a large multi-level house, you might want to look into its AI mesh capabilities to create a mesh network. What really stands out for me are the game-centric features that actually work, like the mobile game mode, which genuinely lowers latency, and the 2.5 gigabits per second port is a fantastic piece of future-proofing for multi-gig internet or a speedy NAS setup. While it is only a Wi-Fi 6 router, meaning you miss out on the 6 GHz band, its performance is so stable and powerful that it's a non-issue for most people. It is the perfect router for anyone from a hardcore gamer to a family with high internet demands who just want something that works exceptionally well right out of the box without any fuss. The GLI Flink 3. The GLI Flink 3, on the other hand, is the router I'd recommend to my fellow tech enthusiasts who love to tinker. This one surprised me with its spec sheet at this price point. Getting not just Wi-Fi 7 but 5 2.5 GB each ports is almost unheard of. The real magic here, though, is the OpenWRT-based firmware. This unlocks a level of customization that you just don't get on mainstream routers. I was able to set up a robust WireGuard VPN connection, run AdGuard Home to block ads across my entire network, and really dig into the network settings. The tri-band signal, including the 6 GHz band, is a huge advantage in a congested area like my apartment building, as it let me sidestep all the network noise from my neighbors. It's not quite as plug-and-play as the Asus. I found myself needing to do a bit of fine-tuning in the settings to get the Wi-Fi performance dialed in, and its mesh capabilities aren't as polished. However, if you're a power user, someone who self-hosts services, or you just want the satisfaction of having complete control over your network, the Flink 3 is an absolute steal. If I had to spend my own $200, I would buy the Asus RT-AX86U Pro because its rock-solid stability and proven gaming performance make it a fire-and-forget workhorse I can rely on without endless tweaking. Now let's dream big. If I had infinite money to spend on wireless routers, these would be my top picks. Asus RT-BE96U. This Asus RT is an absolute beast of a router, and frankly, the one to get if you just want to obliterate any and all network bottlenecks. In my testing, this thing was a throughput champion, consistently pushing out some of the fastest speeds I've ever seen from a consumer router, especially on the 6 GHz band. I threw everything at it in my 3,500 square foot home, 4K streaming, a network-grade server, gaming, and a dozen other connected devices, and it didn't even break a sweat, with no glitches or slowdowns. The two 10 GB per second ports are a massive win for anyone with a multi-gig internet plan or a home server. The trade-off is that it's big and bulky, and you can't slap it on the wall. But what I really appreciate is the sheer amount of control you get in the settings without having to pay for a subscription. Everything from VPN features to in-depth parental controls is included. This router is unapologetically for the power user, tinkerer, or anyone who wants to future-proof their network and extract every last drop of performance. Eero Max 7. The Eero Max 7 is all about making ridiculously fast Wi-Fi feel effortless, and it nails that experience. From the moment I unboxed it, the setup was unbelievably simple through the app. I had a 2-node mesh system blanketing my entire multi-level house and a stable connection in minutes. The units themselves are sleek and don't scream router, which is a huge plus for aesthetics. In terms of performance, it's more than enough for most people, handling multiple 4K streams and large downloads without issues. And having both 10GB E and 2.5GB Ethernet ports and on each node is fantastic. However, my main gripe is how much Eero locks you out. There's no web interface for advanced tweaking, and having to pay for an Eero Plus subscription for basic features like parental controls and network scanning just feels wrong on a premium device like this. While its wired speeds are solid, I found its real-world wireless performance could be inconsistent, especially compared to the raw power of a traditional router. The Eero Max 7 is perfect for someone who lives in a large home, values simplicity and design, and wants a powerful set-it-and-forget-it mesh system without ever needing to touch complex settings. If I had to spend my own money, I would buy the Asus RTB96U because it offers superior performance and complete control over my network without forcing me into a subscription for essential features. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you pick the best wireless routers for you. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Links to all of the products mentioned in this video will be in the description. Alright, peace out.